Happy Friday, beautiful souls, and welcome to Spiritually Her. This is your safe space to explore the magic of inner work, grow your confidence, and embrace your self worth as the ultimate superpower. I'm Terrika-Surrenity, your host and guide on this transformative journey. Here, we're breaking barriers, we're rewriting our stories, and stepping fully into that girl energy together. So grab your favorite drink, let's settle in, and let's vibe. Your next level starts right now. Happy Friday to my spiritually her besties. Oh my god, I'm just like really excited to be able to chop it up with you guys. Like, it's Friday, it's a good day, new beginnings, and you're here. You showed up today, right now, here with me for yet another episode of Spiritually Her, and I'm grateful for it. So, guys, okay, I do want to start off this topic, right? So, let me ask you this. When was the last time you truly poured into yourself? Now, when I ask you this, I'm not talking about just like a quick bubble bath or going out for a solo coffee run, but genuinely took time to nurture your mind, your body, and your soul. Now, if you're struggling to answer that question, then this episode is for you. Today, we're diving into why self love is not just a cute trend, but an essential foundation for your happiness, your growth, and your success. Because, baby, you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's time to fill yours up first. Okay, clock that tea. Clock that tea. All right, so I really want to start off and just really jump into this topic because this topic resonates with me very much so. I remember a time when I was giving everything to everyone else. And this was within my marriage. I'm currently divorced, but it was within my first marriage. I was giving everything to my kids, to work, my relationship. I was picking up loose ends where everyone else fell short. And then I was wondering why I felt so drained and disconnected from myself. And when I say that, I literally had a moment where I looked in the mirror and I didn't know who I was. Not just in a physical sense, like I looked at my reflection and knew that it was me, but the things that made me who I am, I didn't know what that was because I was so busy holding these other titles: mother, wife at the time, daughter, worker, employee, writer, and also I was a, a barber. I would cut the grass. Like, I was doing so much, so freaking much. And it was literally like there was a moment in that mirror where I had realized that I had stopped pouring into myself. And that moment changed everything for me. Now, so just to let you know the highlights that we're going to be covering in this episode, all right? We're going to be talking about why self love is a game changer, what's some practical ways to pour into yourself, and also the ripple effect self love has on every aspect of your life. Now, here's why self love is a non negotiable. Because now that I know better, I do better. currently. And self love and making sure my cup is filled first before I am overextending for someone else is a must for me. So to me, the foundation is everything. Your foundation starts with your self love. Self love is the foundation of your confidence, your boundaries, and the energy you bring to the world. When you prioritize yourself, you're telling the universe, I am worthy. And also, you have to break that cycle of neglect because I want to say that a lot of times, us women, we are conditioned in this world, in this society, in this livelihood. We are conditioned to give endlessly without pouring into ourselves, which leads us to burnout and resentment. And a lot of times when we do this, it's because we do so much for everyone else and we feel like who we do this for, they should be able to pour back into us. And we get upset when they don't pour into us the same way that we pour into them. This is why it is so important that we do not neglect our own cup. Another thing, when we think about self love equals self worth. It is very important that you invest in yourself because how you treat yourself, and I really want this topic here for my ladies to be very strong and very heartfelt and very much so heard to where my spiritual besties of this podcast, when you hear this video, or excuse me, hear this audio, that you realize that you are seen here and you are understood. Because oftentimes, as mothers, especially if you are a mother, even if you're not a mother and you take care of other people, whether that's in your profession or not, or just throughout family, friends, because there's some people who's not a mother, but they are literally they are the foundation of their friend circle group. You are seen as the strong person to hold everyone together and hold everything. And I just want to say to these people, to those women, that we have to get out of that conditioned thinking of bending ourselves over backwards 100 times for the betterment of other people when oftentimes our emotions, our mental state, our wants and needs and desires can be overlooked, but they be overlooked and they're cast to the side because we allowed them to. So this is why it is very important that we invest into ourselves because that shows other people around us how to treat us. It creates space for healthier relationships, better opportunities, and most of all, inner peace. When you have that self worth comes with boundaries. You set yourself to a certain standard that everyone else who wants to have access to you and your energy and your love and what you pour into their cup, they have no choice but to acknowledge, respect those boundaries that you put out there because you have that much self love and self worth within yourself. That if people don't pour back into you, that's fine because your cup is already running over. Like, It's spilling on the ground. That's how much I need you to be filling up your cup. And oftentimes it can be hard. I know that that moment that I had in that mirror, I didn't know the steps to how I can find myself again. Sometimes in life, we evolve where the things that filled us up and made us who we are before children, before marriage or relationships or careers and etc. Um, those things we oftentimes put to the side and we're focused on everything else that the things that filled us up and lit our souls up and made us feel purposeful and joyful and content, we no longer did. We no longer made time for. And sometimes it can feel foreign to start back up again because you may have evolved and gained another hat like mother or wife or significant other or caretaker. So many other hats you've probably had to put on, and it makes it hard to start back finding yourself again, especially when you're trying to find out who you are in this present state. And sometimes you have to go back to that inner child and find that joy again. But if you ever find yourself in a state where you're wanting to know how to pour back into yourself, I got a few things in mind. Now, I'm going to break these down in three basic little, excuse me, basic categories on ways that you can pour into yourself. And we're going to start off with the mind. I know when I was little, I used to have a diary. Now that I'm older, I call it a journal. But journaling, writing down your thoughts, your emotions, and even writing down affirmations to connect with your inner self. You guys know how I feel about affirmations and speaking those to yourself. I don't care if you speak it and you don't believe it. Keep saying it until you do. Also, other things that you can do to pour into your mind is self reflection. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? What lights me up? And then I need you to act on it. Now, I will say that sometimes when we do have people that want to show up for us and ask us as women, what do we need? We are so used to handling things so much by ourselves that we don't even know what we need. So, if you come to this question where it's time for the self reflection and you're asking yourself, what do I need right now? What lights me up? If you have a hard time answering those questions, instead, I want you to write down things that you've wanted to try, things that you saw someone else do that seemed to give them joy. Just try, act on it. Another thing, when we're talking about pouring into ourselves, into our mind, therapy, meditation, mention to your therapist about the thoughts that you're having. If you do have a therapist, if you don't want to have a therapist, then, or if you don't have the insurance or you can't find a therapist that fits your needs, then try meditation. You can literally try these different practices that can deepen your self awareness and it can really heal some old wounds. It can help you dig a little bit deeper and do your shadow work and figure out what blockages are you having, are you dealing with. And honestly, if you do need someone to talk to, find someone who may be a little bit older or a little bit more experienced who can also offer their advice, or just, I like to say, YouTube University or TikTok University. When I tell you there are resources, there are people out there who are putting out some good information because they themselves have been through this situation and they're sharing things that happen to them or happen to work for them, like I am doing right now. Another thing, now we're going to move on to like the body. How can we pour into ourselves in the body form? So let's think about movement. So finding joy in moving your body, whether that's through dancing, yoga, or just walking in nature. Something that requires you moving. That's enjoyable. I know sometimes like I have these moments where if I am in like this yucky, energetic feeling, sometimes I literally have to put headphones on and blast music and literally dance it out. To me, that works. That works for me. Or if you want to work out but you want something that's fun, I highly recommend Trap Cardio on YouTube with Ashley. I'm just saying. Best decision I've ever made. It was fun. I felt like I was part of community, even though I'm looking at YouTube. It was great. Or if you are a person that loves nature, just walk, go for a hike, find a new trail, and just go. And if you're looking for a community while doing so, they have hiking groups, trailing groups, different things. Put yourself out there. Because I can guarantee you, you are not the only woman that is feeling this. You are not the only person that is feeling this. Now, another way is through nourishment. So start fueling your body with foods that give you energy and that nurtures you instead of deplete your energy. Now, sometimes this could be easily said than done because sometimes for me, when we're talking about pouring into our cup, sometimes I might want a Biscoff ice cream bar. It may not be nourishment to me, but it is yummy to my tummy, okay? But there's balance within everything. So if you find yourself like feeling depleted and you don't have energy, this is where you're like, okay, let me try a smoothie. Let me try this. Let me try fruit salad, whatever helps you. Even if you don't want to do the whole healthy thing, find a recipe, your favorite recipe, and I want you to cook it. Cook it, pour it into yourself, and I want you to cook like you cook for your family. I'm not saying that big of a portion. I'm saying oftentimes with us women, we would put so much love and care to the needs of others when we're doing a task for other people. When it's for our children, we go the extra mile. If it's for our significant other, we go the extra mile. But when it's for ourselves, we give ourselves the short end of the stick. No, I want you to wine and dine yourself as well. Find your favorite meal, cook it, or go buy your favorite meal. Treat yourself, okay? Get a glass of wine. Also, when talking about pouring into yourself, this is like the major one, all right? The major way to pour into your cup is rest. Listen, I know that may be hard for us to do. And I think that's a lot of things that us women who wear a lot of hats, we ask for rest. But the thing is, we are so stubborn and hard headed that when we have time to rest, we don't. We're thinking about all the other things that we should be doing. And sometimes we have the habit of feeling guilty for resting. So let me just go ahead and cut the bullshit out right here. Rest is productive. Don't you dare feel guilty for slowing down. Don't feel guilty for resting. Resting is still productivity. So I need y'all to get that. Okay, clock the T. Now we're going to move into the soul. How can we pour into ourselves? Be a soul. This is where spiritual practices come into play. Regardless of your religion, spirituality, whatever, connect with your higher self or God, whatever you like to relate to that as for you. Connect through prayer, rituals, meditation. For me, when I connect and I meditate and I pray, and when I do a tarot reading, mm, for me, that's when I feel the most aligned because oftentimes I have a habit of spiraling when things tend to not be in my control. And spirit knows that. Like, spirit be on me about spiraling. And I'm always getting the card of like, keep your composure, relax, work through this through ease and grace. And I can be on a level 10. And after I pray, meditate, or do a tarot reading, I am all of a sudden at a level 1. At a level 1. So those spiritual practices can definitely help. And also creativity. Tap into your inner child. I know for me, when I'm feeling like I need to love on myself, I need to fill my cup, I need to feel like me again, I tap into my inner child and I create. I'm a creator at heart. I have a weirdly, oddly fascination with turning nothing into something. So this is where I am painting, I'm writing, or I'm making music, or I'm painting pottery, or whatever the case may be. Creativity. Do something that's just fun for you. Even if you're not a person where you feel like you are the most creative, just try. Just try just to say that it was something different. Just try to say that it was something fun. And lastly, for the soul, create boundaries. I'm going to say this again. Create some boundaries. Say no to what doesn't serve you and say yes to what fills your cup. This is the times where you're getting phone calls about someone needing you to do something. If your cup is not filled and it will deplete your cup rather than fill your cup, the answer is no. And I heard this saying on another podcast, and I will have to get who actually said this, but I made this quote literally a quote that I use quite often. And she said that if it's not a hell yes, it is a hell no. That means if someone is giving you an opportunity and you don't respond like, hell yeah, that means it's a hell no. If you have to think too hard about what all you're going to have to sacrifice for that, the answer is no. So, also, when we're talking about self love and pouring into yourself, there is a ripple effect of the self love. So, when it comes down to you, when you pour into yourself, you'll feel more grounded, more confident, joyful, happy, content. You'll start making decisions from a place of love instead of a place of fear. But when it's for others, when you give yourself the self love, your relationships will improve because you're no longer giving from an empty space. People will see you glow and they'll also see you giving yourself the love and having this self love and self worth that they respect your boundaries. And then there's a ripple effect for the world. So when us as women prioritize self love, we inspire others to do the same. I need you to know that your journey can become someone else's permission to start theirs. So understand, you pouring into your cup, you loving yourself, building up yourself is a ripple effect of self love that will help make your circle better, your life better, and possibly, if everyone does it enough, help make the world better. And I have high hopes for that. I really have high hopes for that because in this world and the way that the world is operating, we could need more love, more self love, more ripple effects. So I really want my spiritually her besties. I want you guys to remember self love is not selfish, it is simply survival. You are your longest relationship, and you deserve to be treated with love and care every day. Now, I want you to pick out one way to pour into yourself today. Whether that's journaling, meditating, taking a long bath, or setting a boundary. And I want you to commit to it. So can you do that? I don't think that would be too hard. I think you guys can handle that. And let me know what it is. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what did you decide to do and if it's working or if you have any other tips and traits, let's share it all with the community. Share how you're pouring into yourself this week and tag spiritually her on social media. Let's hold each other accountable for this self-love journey. I love you guys and glad you guys came. Share this episode with someone who needs this. At least three people that you know who needs to hear this message and fill their cup. All right, guys. I love you guys so much. Sending you ear hearts as always. Happy Friday, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Spiritually Her. I hope you felt inspired, empowered, and ready to take the next step on your journey. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let's keep the conversation going. You can connect with me on TikTok at Surrenity101. That's SURRENITY 101. And on Instagram at spiritually.her. I'd love to hear your thoughts, breakthroughs, or even what topics you want to dive into next. Until next time, remember, your power is already within you. Keep shining and simply stay spiritually her. Bye.